That moment when you score one of these that totals around $150 to $200 in prize support after not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For over a year.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Yu-Gi Bros! What's going on, guys? It's Yu-Gi Bros, and today I'm gonna show you a deck that I played that won me $150 to $200. So the Worlds event was this past weekend, if you didn't remember. And I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! Like cardboard Yu-Gi-Oh! In a hot second. But I figured I'd run it with Majespecter of all decks. And we went X1. So I'm going to show you the list. Just keep in mind some things are proxied in here because I borrowed stuff. So let's run through it right now. So starting off with the deck, we play Triple Bunbuku. This card is your best starter. Obviously it gets you to your lines. To pair with that, you play Triple Yomarashi. This is one of the new ones. It says if you control a Majespecter, you can special summon during either player's main phase, which is kind of cool. And then, I guess I should say for the people that don't know, none of the Majespecter monsters, main deck ones, can be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is really interesting with some interactions. Like, they can't imperm you or Veiler you, so Ash is like the only thing you're super worried about. And then, so on normal or special, they all have effects. So this one adds a monster, usually you add this one. This one sets a spell from your graveyard, which can come up. Sometimes the line matters, sometimes it doesn't, but I'll go into more of it in a second. Then we play Triple Crow. This one used to be arguably the worst one, but ever since they released a new card in Majespecter Wind, it now became one of the best cards. You either want to open Bunbuku or Crow. Bunbuku preferably because you don't want to burn your wind early. You'd rather use it while like a reuse up, but you know, I'll show you guys more about it in a second. And then we play the 1 Ogama and the 1 QB. This one searches a trap on summon. This one sets a Speller trap on summon. You only play 1 and 1 of the traps nowadays, so you just play 1 and 1 of these. They're not huge, but they can get you there, and then this can also set the spells from the deck, which can be relevant as well. And then we play the newly unlimited, now we only play 2 of it, but Kirin. Oh, I should probably preface, we played our event with the new TCG ban list. We were given the option to either use the OCG Worlds event list, or we could use the new TCG list, so we chose the new TCG list. So we were able to play 3 Kirin, technically. We only played 2, because, contrary to popular belief, you don't really want to draw this card. You kind of want to go into it. It's mostly a brick in hand. There is one way to pen summon it from hand, but it's not optimal at all. And while this card is really strong, you only need 1 of it to do what you want to do with it. So like more than 1 just is kind of clunky, or more than 2 I should say is kind of clunky. I like having an extra 1 just in case, but you don't need 3. And then for the Drago Slayer package, we play Triple Majesty Pegasus, which also always counts as a Majespecter, so you can search it with your Bunbuku, for example. This one says if it's pen summoned or summoned through a Drago Slayer effect, you can add a field spell from your deck to your hand, any field spell, mind you, and then discard 1 card. So what's kind of nuts with this is you can grab literally anything. We'd play Necro Valley in here. I just don't own a Necro Valley, especially one with the newest text. Maybe Speed Duels will have it, I don't know. But I'll show you more in a second. Then we play the 2 Dinosaur Power Load and the 1 Ignis. Phoenix is a 7 scale, so this is the only way you can theoretically pen summon this from your hand or extra deck, because he's the only scale that is that high. Most of these are 2 and 5s. Also, if you haven't noticed by now, all the Majespecters don't have pendulum effects, which is kind of wild. I've never been a fan of pendulum decks. However, I don't mind a deck where I don't have to read 2 paragraphs. So you do on these, which is a little unfortunate, but when you're only reading like, you know, a third of your cards twice with 2 effects versus 1, it's a lot easier. So that's those are the pendulums. Non-engine, we play a Triple Drone Lock because this card is a wind spellcaster, and all your cards tell you to tribute wind spellcasters to get effects. All the Majespecters are wind spellcasters, so this kind of doubles up. Like this plus a wind or this plus a field spell is still full combo, which is hilarious. Like it never gets old when you normal summon a Drone Lock and they're just like, okay, what are you gonna make, a Nima? And then you're just like, tribute it for wind, summon Bunbuku, go off. So that's really fun. Double Veiler. We play this instead of Imperm because in Pendulums you kind of lock your zones a lot, especially in this deck because you're searching the spells and traps a lot. So Imperm usually ends up being kind of dead. So we're playing Valor instead. I would love to bump this to 3. We're playing 40 and I don't know where to cut. Or I don't know, maybe we could just play 41. But this card is also a Small World bridge target, which I'll get to in a second. 2 Ash Blossom. I honestly think this is arguably the worst hand trap out of all the good hand traps right now. Like, in my opinion, it's Nib, Ogre, Valor, not in any particular order. And then Droll gets you there, obviously. But Ash is Ash. I mean, you can't not play it, but it's also a Small World bridge target, so, like, that's also good. And then 2 Ogre. This card's just really, really good against Yubel and Snake Eyes. So, I mean, it is what it is. And then we don't surprisingly play the Nibs in the main deck. We play them in the side deck, which I know, again, sounds terrible, but I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a hot second, alright? Give me some credit, right? And then for the spells, we play triple Small World. I know, I hate it. This isn't a secret. I will get one, I promise. This makes it so that any single Majespecter monster is any single Majespecter monster, because you can go, like, if you open the wrong one, let's say you brick on the Kirin, right? You can Small World the Kirin for the Valor, for the Bunbuku, and then there's your full combo. Or you can go Crow. Granted, again, like I said, if you Crow over Bunbuku, you end on a less strong board, but it's still really, really strong. It also means that if you open Ash or Valor, either one of them is into a Bunbuku as well, through the line, no matter how you slice it. So you can kind of just always get your Bunbuku. This card's really good. Like, absolutely love it. So 3 of those, and then for the Majespecter cards, we play 2 Pegasus, and I understand the logic of you only really need 1 because you can search it, but 9 times out of 10 I would like to search Secret Village instead, because this card just locks anyone that's not playing Spellcasters in their deck. And so normally you would play like 1 and 1, and then you could play like a Terraforming, but I don't hate drawing this. Like, let's say it was Terraforming and you eventually search this, right? So, like, I guess you could Terraform for the Pegasus. I don't know, it depends how you look at it, but, like, I really do not hate having multiples. It's player preference, I'd argue, but if you see it, and the upside of playing 2 is that you will see it more often, if you see it, then you can go out of your way to search the Village. Village is the one I like to end on the most, but I understand why people would end on this, or search this, and then go into their combo a lot more. Again, player preference, I feel like, but Secret Village just says if you have a Spellcaster and they don't, they can't play spells. However, if you don't have a Spellcaster, you can't play spells, so you gotta play around it for that reason, but otherwise, this card's crazy. And then we play triple of the Heart and Soul. This card is cracked. Majespecter Wind. When you activate this card, you can also attribute a Wind Spellcaster on activation. It special summons a Majespecter from your hand or grave, or if you attribute it to a monster at activation, you can special summon a Majespecter from your deck instead. So if you use the summon through grave or hand effect, you can't get ashed, but if you're special summoning from deck, obviously you can, because it attributes at activation to determine whether or not it's going to do what it does. But basically this card is just a better version of this. Whereas this can only summon a Majespecter level 4 or lower by attributing a Wind Spellcaster, this can summon any Majespecter monster, including Kirin, which is crazy, straight from the deck. Most of the time you won't summon Kirin. Kirin's usually your, like, I guess turn 2, going into their turn, you can Wind for a Kirin, but most of the time, like, you want to end on Kirin last. This just gets you your consistency and everything. And then we play the 1 Cyclone, the 1 Tornado, and the 1 Tempest. This one tributes a Wind Spellcaster to banish a monster. This one tributes a Wind Spellcaster to destroy a monster. This one is literally Solemn Strike by tributing a Wind Spellcaster. You don't need more than 1 of each. I wish you could recycle these. You can recycle the spells now through the Yamarashi, but you can't recycle the traps. Because sometimes this, just having multiple strikes or getting another strike back is really good. I started in the deck playing 2 Tempest, 1 Tornado, but it's not really necessary. Extra deck is 2 Orthros New. Unfortunately, the extra deck Majespecters can be targeted and destroyed by card effects, so unfortunately when your opponent has like a Valor or an Imperm, this card kind of like forces it to get hit by that, which is really rough because this card says when it's link summoned you can target 2 of your up to 2 of your Majespecters in your extra deck, add them to your hand, and then throw Majespecters into your extra deck with different names than the ones you added. So this is crazy if it resolves, right? Because like most of the time you'll turn 1, you'll Bambuku into Yamarashi, you'll link 2 into new effect will add both of these back, and then you'll do like, usually it's Crow Majesty. And then from there, these become your high and your low scale, and then you just pen summon out that minimum plus whatever else you had in hand. And then this gets a spell, this can get a field spell, and you just go off from there. Unfortunately, if they have the Imperm or Veiler, this is the card they're forced to hit because everything else can't be targeted. This one actually can. I should say it's a hybrid, so it can be, but like it always gets hit, and the problem is like that is the whole combo. So to mitigate that, we actually play Beyond the Pendulum, which I mean I would argue to play this in a Pendulum deck anyways, but again, like I said, I'm kind of new to Pendulums. I don't really dabble with that too often. Where this pays 12 to add a Pendulum from deck to hand. You can do that, and then you're not locked. Oh, I should say, new does lock you for the rest of the turn into Majespecters / Dragoslayers, which is okay, and if they Veiler or Impermit, you're not locked. But Beyond the Pendulum gives you the capability to go even further beyond, no pun intended, so that like if you had you search like a Majesty and you have another Majespecter in your other zone, Majesty's pen effect says you can target the thing in your other zone, add a Dragoslayer Pendulum monster with a different name than the thing you targeted to your hand. So you go like Dynamite, and then you can pop a card in your zone, so you could pop that, and then you could activate this, and then this one says in the zone you could target the other one and special summon it, and then that triggers. So like you can go through different lines like that. But Beyond gives you the capability to push past the restrictions that this has. I don't know why this card came secret, honestly. I don't think it's all that good because it doesn't have the targeted or destroyed by effect. And then the fact that you then are locked into the thing just feels really, really bad. But then to pair with Beyond, we play Exceed the Pendulum. This card is just crazy. We played an SP Little Knight. We borrowed an SP Little Knight, I should say. Hopefully the tins will make this cheap enough that I could just pick it up. Then we played an Access Code and Underworld Goddess. Apo got banned, so we cut that. I just feel like these are two, like, you know, like, this deck's a bunch of little guys, so it can't really do a whole lot. But Access Code gets you there, and then Goddess is Goddess. I just feel like you kind of have to play that. And then 2 of what I would argue the best Majespecter is Ryu, the best extra deck monster. This one on the field says if a card is tributed while it's face up on the field, doesn't care how it's tributed, doesn't care if your opponent tributes. You can detach to special summon a level 6 or lower wind spellcaster from your deck. Doesn't even have to be a Majespecter. Granted, there aren't that many good options in the game, but I digress. The point is, you'll put this out, like that combo that I just said, and I'll do like a separate combo video if you guys want it. But you'll put this out, and then you'll activate like the wind, tribute your link to summon whatever, and then Ryu triggers and gets you a thing. And this is also twice per turn. The inboard that I usually do ends on double Ryu, and the reason you do double is because you'll burn through 2 of the first one's effects, and you'll have the second one on the field to set up for your opponent's turn, along with 2 to 3 back row that tribute when spellcasters to do X, Y, or Z. But again, I'll show that in like a combo video. Then we play the one Magister Paladin. This card's okay. I mean, it could be cut. It's arguably cuttable, but I don't hate the card by any stretch of the imagination. We play one Totem Bird. We don't need this. It's like the flex spot. This could be like a Base Dweller in all honesty. But I don't know. I think Totem Bird's kind of cool. It also stops it evenly matched if you're really worried about that. We play Harbinger because in theory you can overlay these 2 monsters to make it. More on that in a combo video. We play Zeus. Oh, I'd play Typhon in this deck if I owned it, but I couldn't pick it up in time. And I'd probably cut the Totem for it. Or the Magister. And then you play the one Ignister and then the one Dynaster. And then for the side deck, this is the most generic side deck you'll probably ever see. I kind of threw this deck together last second. I originally didn't even plan on playing in this event, but I did. We have 2 Nibiru, because it's Nib. We have the 3rd Ogre and the 3rd Veiler, because I ran out of options. We have Storm, which says tribute a wind spellcaster to target a monster you control, shuffle it into the deck. This can be good, but it's only good going second. But it can come up, so we just play the 1. Then we play Duster, then we play the 3 Dark Ruler No More. I'd probably change this to Raigeki in all honesty, but I couldn't find Raigeki in time. Believe it or not, I just didn't have any Raigekis on me. Triple Cosmic, because it's probably the best spell and trap removal in the game, and then Triple Evenly. This card's hilarious, especially in this deck. I'm arguably considering maining this because if you go first and open it, you can just pitch it off Majesty Maiden, so it's not a brick, but the card's just really, really strong in general. So guys, that's the list. I haven't really done deck profiles with regular Yu-Gi-Oh, but if you guys want to see more of it, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe we could start doing more normal stuff. I actually do have speed videos planned for the upcoming future, soon actually, believe it or not. So stick around for that. But as always guys, comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.